Wayward Thoughts. Written and narrated by Braden Carl Robison. The matchbook they had given him provided 13 matches, hinting at the address for the rendezvous. Long years earning the trust of the ingrates had at last paid off. Little did they know they had invited a tormentor. He stood at the double doors of a seemingly abandoned manor. The roof had caved in, and there were no lights visible from outside. But the ashes revealed footsteps leading to the front. Not the side, not the back, the front, beyond doors seemingly barred. And so he knocked, and knocked loud. The once decadent city had grown blessedly silent over the years. When the shrill one reigned over all mankind, men and women walked at all hours, sniffing out their next debauchery. He could remember when children played on the streets, ignorant of all but themselves, unwittingly rolling down a pit that had no bottom, forever falling and never realizing it. Flame had silenced them. Sacrifices revealed the shrill one's millennium ruse, a blind sickness infesting all the cosmos. There was not a man who could deny sight of it. The sacred flames brought sacred smoke, and choked out the long hypnosis of the sun, the moon, the stars. And yet the shrill one's appetite was relentless still. The ingrates clamored for self-destruction even now. They were comforted only by that which led astray. Their love was only for themselves. Pater, too, could hear the siren call, the hunger for selfish things. He recited his vows at every wayward thought. When the cicadas sang their monotonous hymn, he let it dull his mind, never shutting it out as others did. When the city was silent, as it often was, he could hear the damned beckon him. Men and women burned long ago called his name for help. Children returned from the ash to mock his piety. It was nothing more than a trick of the shrill one. Each day, each time, he would pluck them from his mind one by one, and each day, each time, they would come back. Lies are like weeds, his vows explained. They grow at every hour. He yearned for the cicada's hymn, for the dull world of ash, for freedom from the pain of yearning and debauchery. He wanted this illness purged for good. It could not happen until the ingrates ceased their revelry. Raids and executions had done nothing to stop them. So, when traps no longer work, you poison the bait. He was not to kill them, only to disincentivize their sinful work. He would balance the world again and again until man no longer wanted to be a parasite, until cold selfishness itself was seared from all memory. He soothed his heart with promise. He heard the door creak behind him. Candles lit the basement. Men, fat as pigs, laughed and puffed on foul cigars. The swill on offer was red and thick, scented like rotten fruit. No one noticed him grab the phial of hemlock from his pocket and drip half its contents into the punch bowl. There was a middle-aged woman dancing on a table, her dress straps loose and her veiny yellowed breast hanging out. The men hooted and hollered as if she were a queen. One man reached to squeeze her thigh. Pater listened to conversations he took no part in, pretending to drink his swill. A few of the ingrates he pricked with a pin laced with botulinum. One man, on the other side of the room, already slumped in his chair, vomited on an ornate rug. The revelry went on undisturbed. No one stopped to help. Pater neared the buffet, all of it rich meat smoked on the bone. He had nearly pulled the stop from the hemlock again when he saw a face too familiar to ignore. Before he could look away, Jaharis met his eyes and called him by name. He approached, wobbly in his steps, his breath reeking of meat and swill. "I've not seen you in a dog's age," Jaharis said. "I thought you'd be cinders by now." Pater hid the phial in his hand. Jaharis took no notice. Pater led him to a quiet room while he decided what to do. Jaharis spent the conversation mourning over his wife. Pater remembered her from long ago. He remembered Jaharis as a good man, never one to drink in excess or indulge sin even before the reckoning. Now he was old and grey, tears raining from his cheeks, meat flecked on his grey moustache. A man who had thrown himself full force into the shrill one's bottomless mire. "I don't know how much more I can take," Jaharis said. "All these years and nothing's changed." Pater felt his vows arise before he could stop them. The scales must be tipped so that sickness might be cured, finished Jaharis, to Pater's surprise. His friend seemed too drunk to realize what he had said, only he laid a hand on Pater's shoulder. Don't tell anyone, but I used to be a tormentor. His blue eyes locked on Pater's. When it all began, I even threw my own children into the fires. Pater looked at his familiar face a long time, trying to see the tormentor's mask and hear his voice muffled by the brass. Jaharis dumped his swill on the floor. I hate this, all of it, but I hate the silence more. They call to me, warning me of the reckoning's lies. I've heard it all. There is no sickness. Ashes hide the truth. It never ends, no matter how much I beg them to stop. In Pater's pocket, 12 matches remained, and by dawn the house was no more than cinders. None had escaped. The sun was hidden by the smoke. The silence, at last, was perfect. Not a soul called out to him. His thoughts were still. Back home, in his empty flat, his sleep was interrupted by the sound of an old man weeping.